There we are. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have connected to Connecting Communities with Brian J. and Laura Lee. I like saying that. Laura Lee. Good morning,
You
Laura.
have a great announcer voice with it too, so it works out well.
I appreciate that. My mama always told me two things. One, uh, school's not a social hour. But she didn't know that I was actually getting educated to do what I do, okay? So,
Exactly.
and number two, that I sounded like I would work at Busch Gardens with keep your hands inside, right? Stand in line. Yeah.
You've got that big assertive voice. That's what it is. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
I love it. When I was in BNI, I used to start out with "Good morning, BNI." I
Yeah.
had people that were in my circle at one point in time, the ones that tried to dim my light, that would tell me that it was they hated my voice. And saying that, this is funny. I would read stories, and I'm obviously animated. Go figure. And when I was doing this, Jackson's sister told me one time. Now, mind you, she was 4 or 5. She told me, Brian, when you read to me, it scares me. You have a saggy
You have a saggy
voice.
I love kids.
Hilarious. Hilarious. She
love
was a
kids.
riot at 4 and 5. Now, Jackson Robert, he too, like his father, is extremely animated. So he has that afflection in his voice when he speaks, and more so when he reads as well. So, Laura, I'm excited. We tried to do this earlier in the week. Internet was not happening. So, but we're here today. So, guess who else is here?
Who else is here, Brian?
Like you don't know, right? I love that setup though, like a volleyball. Surprise, surprise, Alan Ziga. Ziga. Is it Ziga or Ziga? Alan, how do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, it's Ziga. Think zigzag.
Zig.
Yep, Ziga.
Alan, we got to keep it clean here on Connected Communities, okay?
Me, man.
Actually, when I hear zigzag, I think of that game. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes.
Oh, with your hands and.
I love it.
That was one of my favorite games as a kid, which I don't really know why, but it was.
Well, I think that probably connects to the reminder from your mom that school was not a social gathering.
So true. So true. If my mama will only know now on how that does work for me, then we would be in amazing shape. So we'll put on Alan with not one, but 2 times tutoring.
Oh.
Alan, talk to me. What's going on, my friend?
So yeah, what's going on? So a little bit about my business. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Alan Ziga. I'm the owner and founder of Two Times Tutoring, and we work with students in all levels of every subject. We specialize in English, math, and science, and we also offer test prep tutoring, so ACT, SAT, even GRE. And we also offer writing and editing services. So if you need help with an essay, a speech, or even a novel, we can help you with proofreading, editing, and with the novel, we can help you through that publishing process, because I know it can be a pain. So we have the experts that can help you through that. And one common misconception is that we only work with kids. But that's not the case. We actually work with adults as well. Oldest student we've ever worked with was 53. Oldest student we're working with right now is 33. And yes, we do work with the little tykes as well. I have people who specialize in working with kindergartners, first graders. Personally, I like middle school and high schoolers, working with them. But, people enjoy working with young, little tykes. That's them. That's not me.
I like the little tykes. Laura, what about you?
I think I'm good in like the 4th and 5th grade, where like they're semi-autonomous, but they're still cute and not like hormonal yet.
Okay, not hormonal. That's hilarious.
That's fair. I've heard a lot of people say that about me. They're like, no, middle schoolers, no hormones, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so I understand. Yeah.
Alan, I would think that with you dealing with the kids, that's not your only clientele, though, because then you've got to balance the parents. That's got to be hard.
Sometimes, yeah. Some parents are very easygoing, laid back. Hey, you guys are the experts. Do what you got to do. Other times the parents are very like, we want it done this way and this way. And they would want it like once a week for 1 hour. And I'm like, you know, if the student's at an F and the parents want them to get an A, once a week for 1 hour might not be enough. I don't care. I only want it this, you know, and with parents like that, it's a lot harder. But the majority of parents who I work with, you know, they're very receptive to what I have to say, and they listen, and they're very easy to work with. Most of them. I didn't say all, but most of them.
Okay. And how long have you been with, I like saying this, not one, but two times tutoring? You should hire me. Like, we should go on KQ. And I could be the wash guy, right? And now, if you call, go ahead. I'm so sorry, Ellen. I'm in a funky Friday mood.
Absolutely, and I can listen to your voice all day. Your voice, yeah. Don't listen to what the haters say. So yes, I started the business about 4 years ago. Been taking it seriously, I'd say, for about 2 years.
And why two times tutoring? Why not construction?
So the reason I call it, well, one reason is because the service is tutoring and not construction, but another reason I call it two times tutoring is because I have two options for tutoring. So one option I have that's unique is the option of having two tutors work with the student. And that's great for students who have trouble paying attention, like those with ADD or ADHD, because going back and forth between two people speaking, each time you do so, it pings the brain's attention and allows the student to pay attention longer. It's also great for learning concepts quicker and getting more done. And especially the students who have like maybe ADD or ADHD, very helpful for them. And then I also offer one-on-one tutoring. So traditional tutoring, one tutor, one student. So.
Wow. So is there, this is a twofold question. One, do you have, I'm sure you do, because as a professional, you're not going to just do the whim. What kind of case studies do you have to say two is better than one?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's known, and I've done a lot of research on this, it's known that when people are focused on one thing for too long, their attention drifts off to the side. And I mean, especially with apparently with Americans, I've heard...
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I was watching on my window. What'd you say? No, I'm joking.
No, we're all like that. Hey, you know, smile. You know, everyone's like that to a certain degree. Not just if you have like ADD or something. Everyone's like that, unless you've practiced, you know, attention and everything. But yeah, the average American, I've heard, loses their attention span 7 times a minute. And I don't know how that is for the rest of the world. The study I looked at was just for Americans. But it's known that when you focus on one thing for too long, especially if it's someone talking. Now, if it's something you're really into, I don't know, like if you're into playing video games or something like that, like you can pay attention for as long as you want. But when it comes to like if someone is speaking to you, especially if he or she is monotone and boring, within 15 seconds, your mind's already elsewhere. You're thinking about the kids, what you're going to eat, just whatever. And it's known that when you go from one stimuli to another, whenever you hit a new stimuli, your attention goes elsewhere, your brain sees it as new. And when you're new stuff to your brain likes to pay attention to. So then your brain goes to the new, whatever it is that you're paying attention to. But then eventually, you know, after like a certain amount of time, like 20, 30 seconds, eventually your brain gets bored and it wants to stop paying attention to it. But if you were to keep going back and forth, your brain keeps seeing the stimuli as new. It keeps pinging its attention. So it never wants to lose its attention for the most part. And there's other techniques that we do too to keep the student's attention, like a pattern interrupt. So especially if it's a student who might have like ADD and we know it, and if someone's just talking, and then all of a sudden you say blueberry pizza. And then all of a sudden they're like, huh? Because it's unexpected. And then it just hits the brain, it hits the brain's attention. Like, what is that? And then you keep talking about what you were talking about. Then they refocus. So there's other little techniques, not exactly that, but little techniques like that we do to keep the attention. Because that's huge. Because you can be a genius, but if you're not paying attention to what you're learning, how are you going to learn it?
No, I agree with that 200%. Laura, do you have any questions for Alan?
No, I love that. I love anything that takes thinking about how kids learn and takes it out of like the box and makes it, you know, more accessible for different kids. So the whole concept of having two different tutors is perfect. I know the school that I went to, it was not my grade school wasn't a traditional third grade, everybody in third grade's in this, and everybody in fourth grade's in this class. There was a merging together of like third, fourth, and fifth graders, so that kids could learn at different paces and not be stigmatized for it. So I love what your idea of having, different meeting kids where they need to be met to learn is amazing. I love the idea.
I like that as well. I remember being in elementary school. I had just moved to Norfolk, Virginia, popped into Go Azalea Gardens. Okay. Had to throw it out there for our Azalea Gardens alumni. And we had clusters in our grade. So in seventh grade, it was cluster G, cluster H. I think there was one other cluster. Well, I remember the science teacher in cluster G, Miss McAllister, who was absolutely amazing. She was like the cool teacher. Well, long story short, I was in the slower cluster. So, and I didn't realize that until years later, looking back, going, wow, they really put us in those pieces based off of testing, right? And well, we all know I was there for social hour. Okay, I was not taking testing. Okay, so which was crazy at the end of the day. But yeah, I like the fact that I think you said it very well, Laura, on creating that box and doing something different, because obviously what we've been doing is not hitting the benchmark, right? So we've got to change that. We've got to change that up a little bit for sure. For sure. Now, do you utilize any resources that Two Times Tutoring has? So let me step back one more. So is this a franchise or is this your privately owned LLC?
Yeah, so it is my privately owned LLC.
Okay.
Yeah, I get asked that all the time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, from what I have researched and read, it's very people don't just wake up one morning and go, hey, I just want to start my own, right? Because there are some franchises out there that would support that same vision and give you those tools and resources and that manual, right, to do it X, Y, Z. But again, you're doing things differently. You're putting that emphasis on that for sure. Nice. So where do you see the next, 2 years? Are you going to go global? Is this something that you can have, we'll say, contract workers in states that would be able to facilitate that tutoring piece?
That is the plan, yeah, to go global. And so one thing is I didn't have virtual tutoring until March, actually. It's something that I should have had it a long time ago, but I didn't. And, when the pandemic hit and COVID and we all had to quarantine, I was like, yeah, I have to offer virtual tutoring or else I'm not going to have a business anymore. Because actually, for those of you who don't know, I lost most of my business in March. The second week of March, within the course of 4 days, lost 96% of my business just like that. And I always tell people, it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you respond to what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens.
I love that. I say that all the time. It does not matter what happens in our life, only how we react.
Exactly. It's how we react. Exactly. And I know for a fact that a lot of business owners with other tutoring companies I know a couple who said, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. And I was like, no, I'm not going to just see what happens. I'm going to proactively grow my business through this and see what I can learn from this. So
Absolutely.
I decided one thing I didn't have offered was virtual tutoring. So I had to get a virtual tutoring platform up and running. And there was a lot of other things I had to do because I still wanted to grow my business. Like I wasn't just going to sit around and wait for people to find me. If you don't put yourself out there, people aren't going to know about you. So I did I cold called all the hospitals and stuff, grocery stores, anything that was open, I would do. And so that's kind of how I set up, got the virtual tutoring up and running. And with the virtual tutoring, now I can offer tutoring anywhere in the world where there's internet, and not just Northeast Ohio where we're located, because most of my tutors are up here as well. We're all in this, area, a few counties up here, but now we can offer tutoring anywhere. So the plan is to go global. I haven't had an international client yet, but I plan on having them within the next few months.
Yeah. Any specific spot you want to hit?
Ooh, good question. You know what? Yes, China actually is a spot I like to hit because a lot of students there want to learn English. And I heard that's huge in China. I don't know for sure, but I've talked to several people who are from China and they've mentioned that. So I really want to hit the Chinese market because the potential, and they value education as well. So that's huge market there.
I think
Yeah,
that value. Laura, please go.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is a teacher, and so she has obviously a lot of teacher friends, and a lot of them were they live down in the Cincinnati area. So from what I understand, a lot of people that work for the Cincinnati actual schools district were like long-term subs, which is a thing I guess a lot of school districts do. So a lot of people got laid off and found ways to do English language tutoring online with students in China. And a lot of people found the opportunity during the pandemic because, we were still in lockdown, and in China, they had already gone through and, curtailed a lot of the community spread. So they were allowed to open back up and we're back in school. And so I know a lot of people did that. So that's an awesome opportunity. There's definitely there to hop in, because you're right, there's a huge people in a lot of other countries around the world want to be bilingual, which I think is an important thing. So yeah, there's totally opportunity there. I know you can do it, Alan.
Yes, thank you.
For sure. I mean, you have for a young guy, you have drive and passion that is typically not out there. Just in our brief conversations and what I've been able to watch what you've done, that drive and passion, you can't teach that, right? Yep. You getting out of the car is the hardest part of any job, right? Knocking on that door, starting that conversation. That's during normal America. I know I just said normal America. Let me rephrase what I'm about to say. That's like 2008 to 2016 America. Okay, we'll go there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I get myself so tickled sometimes. I don't even know what I'm saying. So let's talk about apps. Do you have an app, or how do people reach you, Alan? Like, if I'm watching this and I'm like, my kid needs this, I want my kid to want this, how do I reach you?
Yeah, so I don't have an app per se, but I do have a Facebook page that a lot of people find me at, or find my business at. Two Times Tutoring is the name of it. I have a website and everything, same name. Okay. And LinkedIn, a lot of people find me on. I would say most people, they'll find my business on Facebook. No. Most people find my business actually with my business cards, because I go to stores all the time and pass out my business cards. But best way to contact me would probably be by phone. You can text or call me at that number.
Got it. And that was I think we just had it real quick.
Yeah, it's the 440-494-6284.
Perfect. We'll put that in our ad once we do some editing as well, so we'll make that stick for us too. So
cool.
Awesome. Well, listen, Alan, you're going to hang out with us, right? We have another couple moments of this lovely show, so I'm looking forward to our next pieces, and we're talking about apps. So we have a new segment that we're going to put on here. This is where I'll put in this great intro music. It's called Apps and Dating Sucks. Okay?
Okay, this should be interesting.
Now, let me tell you the story. This is the worst. So I have two stories. I'm going to tell you the story. 2013. It was after my divorce with my son's mother. And at that point, I was not in the best place mentally. Should have been dating because I needed to be rebuilt and healed. But I didn't. So I'm dating this person, and I had a rule in my head that I didn't really want anyone that had more than 3 kids that I was dating, because there are 3 kids and my kid, and if we decided to have kids, like, I knew what I want. Let me rephrase that. I thought I knew what I wanted at that point, and I was just very bam, 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 bam. So anyway, another aspect was that I had a 3-date minimum. If we went on our 3rd date and I didn't see, like, I would want to commit to you, like, we don't have to commit after 3 dates, right? But if there's not going to be something there, I'm done. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. I'm peace out. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on a third date with this girl who I am just totally digging at this point. And we're talking, and she looks over at me as we're eating at Red Lobster. Okay, love my cheesy biscuits.
Yep.
And she goes, I lied to you about something. So I was confused because I was in heaven eating my great biscuits. And I'm like, what did you lie about? And she goes, my kids. So I'm like, oh, man. Long story short, she had 8 kids.
Oh.
But,
Oh my gosh.
but as she was so kind to tell me, she reached over, grabbed my hand, and said, but I don't need you to pay for 5 of them.
Oh my
I only need
gosh.
you to pay for 3.
Oh my gosh.
I took my biscuits to go, and I was out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.
So, as I am rebuilt now and healed, I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. And, I'm starting to utilize some of these apps. And I was talking to this girl, and it was a good conversation. It was our third day of talking, brief text, back and forth. Hadn't given her my cell phone number yet because I don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But conversation is going good until she says, hey, actually, I said, why don't we go for dinner? I said, we'll Zoom it. I'll order you dinner and you can eat via Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not so much.
She goes,
Oh no.
could we not do dinner? And can you just pay my cell phone bill so I can continue to talk to you?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Could you not pay for dinner and just put... Is that where we are in 2020? That we're just, hey, you know what? I got to pay my electricity so I can have my computer. You pay for that instead of going out for Taco Bell.
Wow. That's a new one. I have to say, I've heard a lot of stories from my friends from dating apps. I'm not at your level yet where I can even think about downloading one yet. But I've heard that one might be one of the top ones though on my stories.
Alan, are you single? Are you taken? Are you committed? Are you dating?
I am single.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a dating app kind of guy or not your thing?
Not really my thing. I used to have a dating app and nothing ever happened with it. I would meet someone who I think would be cool. We would be texting back and forth, and then we would make plans to meet, and then the plans would just never pan out. Something would happen at the last minute, or they would have to cancel, or I would, and then it just, I don't know, dating apps just never worked out for me.
Oh, that sucks.
So, yeah.
That's I was telling Brian earlier, my roommate is on the dating apps now, and he said to me last night, he showed me he was on Bumble, and he was like, I got all the B's. There's no more B's. Does that mean I win the app? I think that's, which you found everybody in Toledo. You win.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Hope we didn't get stung.
No, I know, not stung yet. Not stung yet.
That's good.
So far.
There's hundreds of dating apps, other than, Christian Mingle or Facebook now has dating, right?
I saw that. Yeah.
Which I refuse to do because I am not having anyone decide, do I want to swipe? It's awkward when they swipe right and you don't swipe right.
Right. See, and that's what I always wondered with some of those apps, you have to know if there's some level of rejection going on, and I just don't know if I could handle that.
Not necessarily, because you may not. So from what I have seen, which I think, let me tell you, was Tinder the first swipe left, swipe right?
I think so.
So everyone is following suit. So that's cool that it's consistent. You're not what app am I on? Oh, I just swiped right and I'm supposed to, you know what I mean? So that's cool that they're following that trend. But I think it's also, they don't always come to your thing. Most of the apps that you don't pay for, right? You only have one time a day and there may only be 10 people that you're deciding on.
Oh.
So you may not ever be in front of that person to be swiped left. And you only know if you guys are a match. So you don't know if they do it. And sadly, sometimes you may just swipe out of instinct and then you're like, oh, but you got to pay more for that feature to do undo. Sometimes
so that's how it gets it.
Sometimes I wish life was a Control-Alt-Delete. Like, I'm like, oh man, I just wish I could like delete it and then Control-C it and then Control-Z it. It'd make it so much easier. And then I realized I live in reality.
Right, life is not a spreadsheet. That is definitely a line that I've had to use before in my past. That life is not a spreadsheet.
Oh my God, I should get that tattooed. So at the end of every relationship, I get some sort of tat. As it has come out. So during my first divorce, it was the yin yang and peace sign to remind myself about peace and balance. My second tat was a puzzle pieces, which would remind me that someday I would be able to put all the pieces back together. And then my third is going to be words, which is I picked all the weeds but left the flowers, which are lyrics from one of my favorite folks that know me are not going to be surprised by this, Kelly Clarkson's song. And so I'm kind of excited now. I'm just looking for that tattoo artist. Alan, do you have any tattoos?
So I don't have any tattoos. I think they look cool on people. I think, they have their purpose. It's just for me personally, I just don't want a tattoo.
Got it. What about you, Laura?
Yeah, I have, I've got quite a few. They're mostly Harry Potter tattoos. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So that's the Harry Potter fandom is going through some hard times right now with the person who created our fandom. The world that we love is being, very uninclusive and unwelcoming and very not wizard-like. So I'm having, it's a little hard knowing that J.K. Rowling is not a great person anymore, having these tattoos on me. But I
don't know what happened. What happened?
Oh,
let me tell you, I've never watched Harry Potter. I know. So this is true. I've watched, I think the first movie, I've watched the same 10 minutes probably 16 times. Yeah. I went to the parties at Meyer and ate the crappy cake, right? When the movies had come out, Susan made me go, but I've never engaged with the books or the movies. So I'm down, listen, dating world, I'm down to snuggle and watch a Harry Potter marathon.
Harry Potter. Yeah. So wait, how old's Jackson?
9. He has watched them. So I think he's watched them with his mama. I don't know if he's watched the last 2. I don't think they were appropriate.
No, those might be a little. Yeah.
But he's followed the series. I have not. He makes fun of me.
Yes, unfortunately, J.K. Rowling has decided basically out of nowhere to just really go very hard against trans women and trans rights and trans people. Like it popped up, her first, opinion on it popped up in about 2015. And it's just like, she's just gotten more hardcore about it, to the fact that Daniel Radcliffe, who plays Harry Potter in the movies and does a lot of work with the Trevor Project, which is a huge group that works with, LGBTQ youth. He basically came out and was like, nah, we're done with Joanne. Don't listen to her anymore. I'm now the leader of Harry Potter. Like, it's fine. We're over her. It's been a rough time in the fandom. So, that's definitely one of those lessons on getting tattoos. So
well, I also think that it's a lesson on doing business, right? Listen, I feel it. I ride that line daily on being too personal and too open and being a business owner. In saying that, I'm also being authentic and true. People that are my clients typically gravitate toward me because of that personality, and saying that. Now, it's tough when you, I mean, I'm not saying by no means am I agreeing with what she is saying, but it is hard to voice your opinion, to stand by your beliefs when you have that fan aspect. I mean, it's hard to be famous. It's hard to be famous. It's hard to, I mean, Laura, you can't walk out your door. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You can't walk out your door without someone pointing the finger at you and going, "Aren't you dot 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 dot?"
Yeah,
Didn't
and
you?
I try to do that with my podcast too. As much as like people, know me in Toledo, know my family and know, how I, I identify politically. I do with my podcast, Toledo Talks, try to keep as much of my personal opinions out of it, because I do want people to know information. Information is what's most important. I will, give you my opinion after, but I want you to make sure that you have the facts now. And that's, especially here in the, election season that we're in, it's hard for me to not say, scream from the top of the mountains all day, every day, but I don't want to alienate people either.
Yeah. No, I feel that completely. What about you, Alan? Do you find yourself in situations where you are, I don't want to say in conflict, but we'll say in conflict with business professional Alan, and then, party it up, Ziga! Hashtag.
Good question. So, when it comes to like partying, I've never been a fan of partying. I didn't go to any in college. I think I went to maybe one. No, I went to one. And I just stood there. This is before I knew how to talk to people. I'm good with talking to people now, but I used to have social anxiety. So I went to one, just stood there awkwardly, and went to go leave, but then somebody blocked my car in, and they were too drunk to move, and it was a mess. And I was like, well, that's pretty much my party experience. They moved their car, though. Eventually, somebody moved it for them.
Well, I'm about to say, that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah. And, but in terms of, like, we were talking about, like, voicing your opinions, maybe an issue that might be controversial. Like, there are times where, like, I want to post something, and it's like, oh, but I have a business. And then if I piss people off, they won't come to my business if they need what I have. It's like, dang it.
Yeah.
But then there are and I've had a few times where I just stop caring. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
So it can be hard. But I know if I didn't have a business, I would post certain things that I have not yet. But I just wanna make sure that, again, I have like a good clean image. And then when people think of, and like you said, like when you're like a famous or like a celebrity, if a regular person makes a mistake, nobody cares unless it's something really crazy. No one cares. But if a celebrity does the same exact thing, the paparazzi's all over them. It's all over the news. It's just a mess. So it is hard being famous. And not saying that I'm famous per se, but just having that.
Be in the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly. Like being in the spotlight, it's not easy because you got to be careful. You don't want to, people get, in my opinion, people get offended too easily nowadays. So if you say the wrong thing, boo-hoo, so that, you just got to be careful.
I got to be honest, I kind of like the masks now because now no one knows where I am when I walk into the store. I will throw a baseball cap on. I have my mask on, my beard, you can't see it. So people don't realize who I am.
I was going to say, they can still see the beard. So
No, they cannot, because I have a whole one that goes down to my neck. That I tuck in my shirt. Listen, I am wise. Because people recognize me, and sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, I want to throw on my red flannel, crappy, sweater. I want to walk in with my shoes and flops and not have to look at somebody to go, oh, you're wearing that? Or I don't want to have to get myself dressed up to go to Walmart. You know what I mean? So I will throw on my hoodie, and be gone, and people won't even know it's me. I park all the way down, so I have to walk to my car so they can't see. Not that I am some huge celebrity by no means, but I know a lot of folks in a lot of different areas, and I have a reputation and an appearance to deal with. And sometimes I just don't want to look good. I
had that once where, my friend and I were having, our girlfriend bonding night, and, we had You know, it was one of those points of the night where, you know, you've had a bottle of wine and you don't want to go home yet, but you don't have another one, and you probably really don't need that second bottle, but you run to the store and get it anyway. And so it's just, you know, your girls' night. So we're in leggings and, you know, schlumpy t-shirts and hair's not done, run to the store to grab a bottle. And I run into a referral source from the law firm that I used to work in. And I'm like, great, this is not the vibe that I'm trying to give off right now.
With chips, Reese cups, and a bottle of wine in your hand.
Right, and flushed cheeks, which make it clear we've already had some wine.
Yeah. And I'm going to get back in my car and drive. See you later.
Yeah. So I told the masks are kind of a godsend from that. And also I will have to say, as a woman, I do appreciate them too, because I haven't been told to smile or how you doing or any of those little, unwanted things since March. And it's kind of been great.
See, I miss the smiling. I miss being able to see someone at the store and smile and get that back from them. That's that engagement piece that I need.
Smile.
Look, I've been working with Tyra.
You gotta get your smiles on.
Tyra's not doing so well on Dancing with the Stars. Let me tell you, I miss me some Tom. Okay, I miss me some Tom. Alan, are you a TV watcher?
So actually, no, I haven't. The last time I watched TV.
What do? You don't party. You don't watch TV. What do you do, Alan?
I mean, I have, mainly, by the way, it's been about 7 years since I've watched TV, to answer the question. But I usually, if I'm not growing my business, because that's usually what I do, I want to have a humongous business. And so that I spend most of my time working on my business. When I'm not, I enjoy making music. I eventually want to become a music artist and music producer. So that's actually my main passion is music. So,
okay, there it is.
Yeah, and I love lifting weights. I haven't lifted for a couple months, and I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm actually a lot thinner than I was before. But I enjoy lifting weights, and I have a few other things I enjoy doing too here and there. But really, I'm really focused on growing my business. That's number one.
Okay, awesome. Well, speaking of growing, it is getting to be extremely close to the voting time, and it's growing. Laura, how many votes have been casted at this point? Do we have a number or a measurement?
They, I should have wrote this down because I just watched the news and they were talking about this last night. We are, I think, I'm going to mess these numbers up. Ohio so far has requested, I want to say 2.5 million mail-in ballots, which by this point, which is more, they had that many by the last day of early voting for the 2016 election. So we're so far ahead, and every county that I've talked to of people either going to Lucas, down to Wood, even out in Fulton, in Henry, have, there's been crowds at the early vote centers. Not too long, everything takes a little bit more time if you vote in person this year, because we got to disinfect all the voting machines and whatnot. But yeah, it's awesome how much participation there is. I know I'm a democracy nerd and I love it. I tell everybody, I honestly don't care who you vote for, as long as you go out and vote. Just vote, because there is, the main conflict where people have is at the very top of our political scheme. Obviously, you're super polarized up there. But if you can talk to people about their local issues, like on my episode that's airing today on Toledo Talks, I interviewed the levy campaign manager for the city of Toledo's 2 income tax levies and the Lucas County Metro Parks levy, which the Metro Parks levy is, that's something that's making Toledo a very, very special place. By the time they're done, if this levy passes and they're able to fund up the project they're working on, there will be a Metro Park available within 5 miles, no matter where you are in Lucas County. No matter where you are in Lucas County, you can get to a Metro Park within 5 miles. especially once this levy passes. And what they're going to do is they're going to make this, they're finally utilizing our gorgeous riverfront, and they're just going to make it a park. They're making it a park on both sides. That's what we're going to do. And I love it. And it's just, yeah, voting is, voting's important. It's obviously important who we have as our president, and it's important who's in Congress and all of that. But you know what else is important? It's important what your tax dollars do. It's important who your mayor is. It's important who your county judges are. So that's what I'm just excited about, people to go to the polls. And there's so many ways that you can learn about what's on your ballot before you get there too, so you can do your research and be such an informed voter. I'm sorry, I'm just very excited. And
no, I can feel the excitement from you, and I think that passion is what needs to be, shot into Toledo and Dallas and Atlanta and LA, and I mean the cities go on and on. Even Swamp Lake, USA, wherever that place is, go out and vote. Get in your boat, get to the dock, and go and vote. Well, that should be a song. I'm just getting in my boat, going to the dock so I can vote. Yes, whiskey.
Alan, Brian's giving you some inspiration
right?
for a music project for you.
I am now a songwriter. Oh, okay.
Add it to the resume.
I'm going to be before more famous, Brian.
Oh my God, listen, you guys are going to see that little segment in a video for the next 3 months. I'm just telling you, it's too much. Well, Lauren, let me ask you this, and this is kind of a serious situation that we're in, obviously. Not that any campaign year or election year is not serious, but this is truly, I feel like we say this every year, this is truly a turning point for America.
It really is.
I mean, it's either, I'm not going to voice my opinion. It is truly a turning point for America. So I agree with voting. It needs to be done. A voice needs to be heard at this point. Personally, and I'll say this. I'm not agreeing with this. I don't think it's the right choice, but I feel like we're going to be in another 4 years with Trump.
I can definitely see how statistically, that's what happens. The incumbent always has the statistical advantage, and when your incumbent is a Republican, they have an even better statistical advantage just because of the way our electoral college is set up. And I know that's a really nerdy and confusing thing that people are talking a lot about. So I am so hopeful and pumped at the turnout, just because it's also shown statistically over and over that the more people that go out and vote, the more small d Democratic it gets, yes, but also big D Democratic your results are likely to be, just because of, especially in the way that we've seen the past 10 years, there's legislatively, again, this is at the national level. This is not talking about, all the people, the hard partisan workers who are your state representatives, but at the national level, nothing gets done in Congress, and people are sick of that. I don't get to go to work every day and do nothing. And I certainly don't get to go to work every day and do nothing and make the paychecks that they make. So I'm optimistic at just the outpouring of people, and anytime the higher amount of people you see voting, the better off everybody ends up in the end. That's how I'll say that.
I can see it's just a scary time. Here's the pros of all the early voting going on is I feel like last election, Trump is sitting on something that he will unveil 2 weeks before election. So I'm waiting at any point in time for him to drop a ball. He did it with Hillary, and I don't care what anyone says. I believe that among many other reasons, is what definitely led us to the last 4 years. So I'm expecting a drop of some news. Now, I think COVID situation probably threw him for a loop. That wasn't something that was being expected, and now they're going to have to combat against that, I feel. But sadly, it didn't do as much damage as it probably should have. Meaning not the actual COVID, his reaction and people being angry that now he has it and his stance on it. I don't think it was as powerful as I expected. Like, I thought there'd be a little bit more anger.
You know, it is, he is a case study of what is considered tolerable behavior. Because I do think it's interesting that, certain types of people are allowed to, just get away with certain types of things, which for me, it hit home last night during the town hall. And he talked for the first time about Barron. Barron actually had COVID as well with him and Melania, and Melania just announced that yesterday. And he just totally, that's, I think, what makes it hard is like, it doesn't, people have opinions on politics and on COVID and whatnot, but the way to see someone talk about so lightly their kid having this illness that we don't know the long-term effects, and we don't know, there's just too much we don't know. And just he was, hey, he's tall and he's handsome and he's fine. It was, to me, that's what's most chilling. It's just like the politics are the politics, but wow, that's your son, and your wife.
Have some compassion, right? But again, we are talking about Donald Trump here at the end of the day. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, hey, we are just about that time. I do want to make sure that I throw out a very special thanks to our sponsors, which is Apollo Mobile Solutions. So they are the ones that took care of our app. So phenomenal. Yeah, you can always download it, keep up to date with our podcasts, and there are many other events that we do on a weekly and monthly basis. We also have Elite Bookkeeping Plus, phenomenal bookkeeping services. They just added, I want to say, another 5 staff members. So they are growing in this time as well, which I absolutely love. We also have the Primerica. I just want to say Pro-America, so I have to stop myself and say it in my head, like specific. Okay. We have Primerica with David Dittman, as I like to call him, Dittman, or the Dittmeister. I've never called him that, but I have called him Dittman. But anyway, good old Dave over there. And then we also have Justin with Remax Preferred. He is an up-and-coming millennial, I know I used the M word, millennial realtor, who is just booming over there with Remax Preferred. And then last, but certainly not least, the folks over there keeping it clean and pristine with Stratus Building Cleaning Services, or Building Solutions, my apologies. So those are our amazing 6 sponsors of our Connecting Communities. With that being said, what's going on the rest of the week, Alan? What do you have going on? Let me guess. You're going to work out and you're going to grow your business. Am I Miss Cleo? I think I just read the fortune.
I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Come to me with your lottery numbers. What is that accent? What did I just do?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I like it.
I don't know either. I don't know. Okay, so no, seriously, any cool things going on? Do you have any meetings set up? Are you traveling?
No, I haven't traveled in a very long time. I do eventually. My goal is, I have a certain goal with my business, and when I hit that, I do, my present to myself is to go on a 3-month road trip. I actually want to drive. I don't know if you can drive to South America, but I want to take a car trip. I want to drive to South America and go to different South American countries.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So that's.
Well, when you do that, reach out to me.
Right?
Look, I'll divvy up some gas money. Okay, we are good. We are good. Laura, what do you got going on this weekend?
It's my weekend to have. It's my custody weekend with the doggies. So
I'm about to say, I feel a little no love. We did not see the white cat today. Like, where's our mascot?
Hiding. Yeah, Miss Kitty's in her hiding spot because her puppy brothers are here. So I've got my puppies for the weekend. So it's going to be a big weekend of snuggling and maybe leaf raking. So Just big plans.
Laura, does that mean that there might be some TikTok?
Oh, there'll definitely be some TikTok. There'll definitely be some TikTok. Yeah.
So have you please nobody TikTok me because you do not want to see the things out there. But have you seen the new trend with
I don't think so. Which
Stand
one?
By Me? Stand By Me, not Stand By Me.
Oh.
You know, the Jude.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh my God! You need to go. You need to look at other people's TikTok. It's the new trend. It is hilarious. I'm just glad that the WAP is over. Like, I kind of got too much of seeing the WAP. Now, I do like the parodies. The parodies are quite funny. Alan, I probably already know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it. To you, TikTok?
I don't.
Surprise! Listen, Alan, you could grow your business. All kidding aside, you could grow your business on TikTok. Hulu just started advertising, so I'm in conversations right now to add that service to us as well for those small businesses. Because who doesn't want to advertise on Hulu?
Yeah, because everyone's on it. So.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in today. Alan, I appreciate you diving in and hanging out with us. Laura, as always, it's always a pleasure. I would like to know, Laura, how do I get a hold of you? How do I hear your amazing Toledo Talks? Tell me about that.
Absolutely. You can download Toledo Talks. It's all one word, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all the good stuff. I'm also on Facebook, where I post videos of my all of my episodes. And this week we had an interview with Nick Rabando, who is running for the 5th Congressional District. And then today my episode is with, as I said, BJ Fisher about our upcoming levies. Also on Instagram and Twitter at Toledo Talks, all one word.
Perfect. Alan, any specials that you have going on with not one, but two times tutoring?
Good question. So the sun is like directly in my eyes too. My eyes are sensitive.
Here, let me close my light for you. That'll work.
There you go. Maybe if I move my head closer. There we go. So right now, and really this is a special anytime, I am offering a free assessment for, even if you don't come on as a client, it'd be great if you do, but even if you don't, I offer a free assessment where we can basically analyze where your child is having the most trouble, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they learn best. So that way, if they do get tutoring, we know how to approach it. And even if they don't get tutoring, communicate that with the teacher, so the teacher knows how to alter their teaching to fit the student, if that's possible. So. Okay,
free assessments are critical because listen, how do you go and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do if you don't know what you need to do?
Exactly.
Especially with learning, with people being, auditory or Kisnik, or they've got an audio. I mean, it's so many different aspects. So Thank you for doing what you do. Laura, thank you for educating. Let me look at this way. Thank you for educating and doing what you do.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you check out Laura with Toledo Talks, and twice a week. Is that correct, Laura?
Twice a week, yep.
Twice a week. And then, obviously, old, young, in between, hit up Alan for some different ways and some skill sets to be changed to better your habits when it comes to studying. So be safe, take care, and have a phenomenal weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again.